kids, today we're going to learn about the future tense. So, like it said in the introduction, the future tense is a little trickier because unfortunately, the future tense has two sets of endings. Now, they are used distinctly and at a specific time, but they can make it a little tricky to recognize the future tense. So, what you're going to need for today's video is your verb flip chart, the note card I gave you in class, and a pencil. And for those of you who are more fastidious, a ruler. Let's get started. Okay, so to get started, I have to do something that's going to irritate most of you because it irritates me. So the first note card you should have in the tense column is present. The second note card is imperfect. The third note card you have is the perfect. So here's what we have to do. I need you to remove the perfect tense note card. Now, this is going to make some of you super dupes angry because it's going to rip a little bit. And I feel you because I do not like that either, but this is the way it is. Because we need the future tense to go, oh my, mine are all sad now. Okay, we need it to be present, and then the imperfect, and then align the pink line for the new note card right under the imperfect. So, unfortunately, my imperfect became untaped, so I need to tape this in. I'm sorry, you also need tape. I forgot to put that on the list. And now I'm going to tape down my new blank note card. That is for my future tense. And then I'm going to align, you'll never have to do this again, I promise. And then I'm going to align my perfect tense note card, bloop, right under my future tense note card. So what it will look like when you're finished, it will be aligned like this. Present, imperfect, blank, which will be the future tense, and then down here, perfect tense. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and make that happen, friends. Okay, so now we're back. I've got my blank note card here, and I am going to title this one Future. Now, I do not need to indicate when this is going to happen because the future is very self-explanatory. It happens in the future. However, you may need to write down what the helper word is. So the helper word for the future is will. That's the word you're going to use to translate it into English, okay? I know a lot of people like to use the word shall, which in English is appropriately used with the first and second person, but like just use will. Nobody says shall. Okay, so the key letters that we're going to put here are bo, be, boo. B-O, B-I, B-U. Just trust me on this, okay? Now, once you've written that down, I want you to flip up so that now we're working with the perfect tense note, the future tense note card. Blue, okay? Future tense note card. What you are going to do is you are going to divide this into 4 quadrants, okay? So, as you guys know, I never have a ruler on hand. So I am going to make a straight line down. That's pretty straight. And then a line across the middle. Okay, so I'm going to end up with something like that. As you might anticipate, the future tense is going to require some small writing. So we are going to start with this quadrant here, the upper left quadrant. Okay, quadrant 1, if you're using a math terms. And I'm going to write the words first and second conjugation. Okay, and I'm going to put root plus. The endings for the first and second conjugation are bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt. There's not really enough room to write who's doing what, but O-S-T, M-U-S-T, I-S-N-T. Bo is I will. Bis is you will. Bit is he, she, or it will. Bimus is we will. Bitis is y'all will. And bunt is they will. Now, this is the what we're going to work on primarily is that bo, be, boo. But I do also want you to write over here in the second quadrant the endings for the third and fourth conjugation verbs. Okay? So you're going to take the root, and for no reason whatsoever, excuse me, Latin gives a second set of endings in the future tense. So here it is, es, et, amos, atis, ent. Okay? So, boop, boop, boop. Go ahead, take a moment, write those endings down, pause the video, and then come on back. Okay, so let's write a couple of examples on the back. So let's take a look at our verbs in the chapter we're working on, which is chapter 23. We're going to take the verb kuro, kurara, okay, which is first conjugation. To find the root of a first conjugation verb, I cut off the RE. So step number 1, find the root. And then I add the appropriate endings. Kurabo, and then I would add kurabis, kurabit, kurabimus, kurabitis, kurabunt. So kurabo, if it ends in O, it's I. B-O is will. And curare means to care for. So I will care for. So write that example on the back. Pause the video and then come on back. So let's take a look at and find a third or fourth conjugation verb in this week's list. So in this week's list, a fourth, let's do a third conjugation verb. So a third conjugation verb in this week's list is ago, agora. Okay? I know it's third conjugation because it ends in ERE. And if you can't remember those, go to the bottom of your flip chart and remember, they're all listed right here. Okay? Back to the back of the future tense note card. Since it's a third conjugation verb, I find the root by cutting off the O. That leaves me with AG. The endings for the third and fourth conjugation future are s, et, ms, et, ent. So I'm going to add am. Agam, the am is I will. And then ago, agora means to do or drive. So I'm going to put I will drive. So if you have a first or second conjugation verb, you're going to add the endings bo, bis, bit, bimis, bitis, bunt. If you have a third or fourth conjugation verb, it's s, et, ms, etis, ent. And here's the tricky thing. When you're looking at Latin, unless you've memorized the verb conjugations, unless you've memorized the second principal parts, you don't know if it's first or second or third or fourth conjugation verb. So we're going to have to start working on that. Now, bo, bis, bit, bimis, bitis, bit, bunt, rather, is very easy to recognize. It really sticks out. Kind of like ba, right? The imperfect really sticks out. Unfortunately, s, et, ms, etis, ent really blends in. So a lot of the work of the future tense is going to be recognizing, is this s, et, ms, etis, ent? Is this future? Or is it second conjugation present? It's a little tricky, so I want you to know that that's going to happen. But what we're going to focus on this week is bo-be boo. When you see bo-be boo, you've got future tense. Okay? Thanks, kids.